Hey everybody, it's Robin from Roaming with Rover. And guess what? We're finally here at the beginning of our very first crochet along. Yes, I'm so excited. And I know you guys are as excited as I am. So here we are. This is the Lizzy Blanket crochet along, originally done by Anja from Ophelia Talks. So we're following her pattern, and of course I will have her videos all linked in the description below, and probably there's also going to be one of those little things in the somewhere in the video where you can click and go to her thing as well. I've got lots of information for you, and I know you've heard the information before, but still there's a few things that I want to go over with you. One of the most important things that I want to go over with you is that I know I've told you in other videos that you had to buy the pattern, but I did find out that her pattern is still available for free. And I just stumbled on it. In each one of her videos, it'll say part 1, like Jane, part 1, Elizabeth, part 1. Inside of the description box of that part is that part of her pattern, and it's available for free. And I will link that in every one of these videos. So when we're doing Jane, I will link Jane's pattern. When we're doing Elizabeth, I will link Elizabeth's pattern. But you can go into her section of her videos at any time and find those patterns. So that's always going to be available. I wish I would have found that way sooner, but you know, that's how it goes. Okay, so I just want to go over a few things. I want to make sure that we didn't miss anything. And so, of course, first off is the beautiful, beautiful yarn that we have, the gorgeous yarn. And again, I bought the kit. The kit is available on her website, on Anja's website. And I got the kit. The yarn pack cost, it was $31, and I also bought the pattern at the same time, $7.50. Cost me $52. Shipping was about $35 or $40 on top of that. Yeah, shipping, you know. But a couple other places you could buy that yarn. The same yarn you could get at Lovecrafts, you could get at Wool Warehouse. Paint Box Yarns is a good alternate. Ice yarns, of course, you know, always a very, very good price there. I love this yarn, sport weight. It's always a good option. There are 15 colors if you're following her exact pattern. You don't need to use 15 colors. You don't need to use her exact color palette. You can do it all in one and just show off her stitches. You can use 4 or 5 colors and show off her stitches. Each segment, which she has split into names, Lizzy, Jane, so on. Each segment is going to have 5 rows. So you could use one color for each of the 5 rows. That's perfectly fine. And then she's going to repeat each of those 5 rows 6 times. So you're going to have 30 rows in each segment. So there's 30 rows in Jane, there's 30 rows in Elizabeth, and so on. So if you want to use 5 colors, that's perfectly fine. If you know, whatever you want. Do whatever you want, and that's going to make it easier for you when it comes to figuring out what you need to do as far as picking up yarn. That's going to be wonderful. If you are following her pattern, again, her pattern is amazing. It's beautifully done, lots of little pretties in it, which really is nice because it includes the pattern as part of the art of doing this. It is well written. It is clear. It's got lots of little extras in it. And one of the things that I found when I was practicing on this, and when you're following, okay, make sure you follow her videos as well as reading through. The pattern's very simple. It's 1 or 2 lines of instructions for each row. Very, very simple to follow. But because of the terminology being different. She's English, and the majority of us are Americans. Because of terminology and the wording is a little different, make sure that you are watching the video as you follow along the pattern the first time through. I found that just the way things were worded, I was like, what exactly is she telling me to do here? But when I watched her, it made perfect sense. So that just made things a whole lot easier. Plus, a lot of times she's giving you a little tips and little hints that I wish I had seen at the beginning, rather than, oh, I did this row and oh, that's what she wanted me to do. So take a moment or two, watch the video first, then do your crocheting. And I think that you're going to be much happier if you do that. I think that in the long run, little things like that are going to go a long way. It is not a difficult project. You are going to find that this is not at all difficult. There are a handful of stitches you may not be familiar with, but her explanations and her follow-up video completely 100% will make it so that you can do this with no problem whatsoever. No problem whatsoever. If you're following her colors, you're going to be using the Stylecraft Special. And this is wonderful, wonderful yarn. This is a DK yarn. DK 100% acrylic, 295 meters, 322 yards per ball. Okay, nice soft yarn. This is machine wash and dry, so easy to work with, easy to use throughout the, throw it on the floor, whatever. Throw it in the washer, throw it in the dryer. So not delicate yarn is what I'm trying to say here. When I did my sample, I had no problem working it up. She will suggest in the video that you do a little sample while you're doing this to get used to the stitching, to get used to how it works up, and to get used to doing the border. Do with it as you will. As we're going through, when something special happens in a round, I will let you know ahead of time if there's something. I believe there's one time later on that you will come across there was an error in something, and I will let you know that. There was a one time when somebody somewhere had some problems figuring out the border and came up with an alternative. When we get to the border, I will let you know what that person did for an alternative. So I will keep you a step ahead throughout this whole process, everything that I found out as we went along. I will not keep you in the dark for anything. She will explain colors on every single one of her videos. She will explain the instructions for every stitch on the videos. She gives you a stitch count on every one of her videos for every row. Bless her, I love that. There's no right side or wrong side of the blankets. You don't have to worry about that. Don't worry about your ends. You're going to cut off your color at the end of every row, and we will bury the ends later on. We don't have to work ends in. Yay. I'm approximating that when we're done with this, it's going to be about 48 by 55. And after you get through the first week, you'll be able to do the math yourself and see how yours is going to come out. Because there is that free version, you don't even have to buy the pattern if you don't want to. So, and at this point, you've probably heard me say that throughout things enough times that you should already know that. Like I said, here's the yarn colors. They're so pretty. And she has made her yarn choices. Here's just a few of the colors I pulled out so we could see how pretty they are. Gorgeous yarn colors. You know that she pulled her colors based on the video of Pride and Prejudice. So all of her colors, her whole naming of all of this thing is all based on Pride and Prejudice. And as a follow-up and staying in the same vein as that, in addition to doing this crochet along, I am going to be reading Pride and Prejudice for you. So separate from the video, from the crochet along video, will be videos of me reading the book for you. So as you're working along, you can listen to the story. That'll be fun, huh? So there's going to be a separate video every week of how we're doing the crochet along and a separate video of reading the book. This should take 16 weeks. We will be done the week before 4th of July. So a little something to look forward to every week on that. When you're watching her video, she will say it's 1 week in between each. I thought that was too aggressive. That would be 30 rows of crochet every week. I thought that was too much. I wanted to spread it out more. You guys have lives. You've got other projects you want to work on. I thought that was too much. So I definitely spread that out. So don't be alarmed when she says we're going to do this much every week. I have spread that out. Of course, if you're able to, feel free. I will not be doing it that quickly, and I don't expect you to be doing it that quickly. We also are not going to get through the book that quickly. Trust me. So every week we're going to be doing a video showing where the progress on the blanket, and every week there will be a separate video with the reading of the book. Okay? So this week we are going to start with Jane. And so what I'm calling, she will call it Jane 1, or week 1 Jane. I'm calling it Jane 1 and Jane 2. So don't get confused there. We are going, if we're following her coloring, we're going to be starting with the gold. So that's what we're going to start with. Also, she says the yarn suggests a 4 hook, which is 4.0, which is a G hook. And can you see? Yeah, not very big. She suggests a 3.5. She uses the 3.5, which is an E hook. I did a sampler on both of them, and I thought there'd be a really big difference. There was not. There was hardly any difference at all. I did all kind of measurements, and I'll throw some pictures at the end so you can see the difference. There was hardly any difference at all. But because I bought the kit, and because she said to use this size hook, I went ahead and used this size hook. If I had pulled the yarn myself and I had a real good feel that I could get more yarn if I needed to, I would have used the bigger hook. But because I bought a kit and I really didn't know how much yarn I would have left over, I went with what she suggested. Now, you do what you want, but that's why I decided to use the hook that she said to use. Okay? So you do whatever you want, but that's how I came to my decision. Okay, so I'm using this hook, and this happens to be a Clover E 3.5 mil. Okay, that's the hook I'm using, and that's why I decided to use that hook. And let's see, what else? So each week we're going to have the video that she put out, and I will link it below in my video, so you can go and you'll need to go and watch her video. And they're not very long. And I think that is it. And once you watch it the one time through, you won't need to see it again for the next one. So this is the first week. We're going to start week 1. We're going to start on Jane. And in the instructions, it's going to tell you exactly what stitches we're going to do. There are 5 rows. Like I said, it's a 5-row repeat. We're going to do rows 1 through 5 6 times for a total of 30 rows, except we only expect you to do 15 this first week. So we're going to come back next week. We're going to look at this at 15 rows, see how it looks, see how it's coming out, see if you're having any problems, see what you did with your colors, and go from there. She gives you a count at the end of every row. She tells you how many stitches you should have. If there's specialty stitches, like there's a V stitch in this one, she tells you how many V's you should have. So it's great how well she works with you on these. If you have any questions, put it down below in the comments. I think that's it. Don't forget, at the end, we are going to have a giveaway. And so Make sure that y'all let me know if you are working on this. Let me know if you're enjoying the readings. Let me know if you're doing the crochet along. I'm very, very curious if you're following her colors, if you're doing your own colors. Just kind of let me know what you guys are doing. Okay? I think that's it. If you have any questions, put it down in the description below, and I will get back to you. You know I'm real good about answering the comments, answering your guys' questions. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with, and I will see you guys next week at row 15. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.